A lot of what we do, especially when you're trying to get better in a lot of different areas, it evolves around a hero's arc, a hero's journey. If you haven't heard of it, I'll put it up on the screen somewhere. But the hero's journey is a cycle that always repeats. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end. And when you're trying to reach different levels and get better in certain areas, you're going to go through your own version of a hero's journey. Like, you ever see the Spider-Man I grew up on was the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. You remember the first movie where he first discovers his powers, and then he's getting the hang of things. He's stitching up a suit in his room. He's falling off the roof almost. He's accidentally shooting webs. He's climbing on walls, and then he starts to get the hang of it. He starts to actually learn how to use his powers, learn how to do those things. And then he fights the Green Goblin in it. And then he ends up winning that fight and all that stuff. And then there's two more movies after that, but that first movie is the perfect depiction of a hero's journey, and that's in every superhero movie if you haven't caught on by now. Whether that's every Batman, every Superman, there's always the character, the conflict, and then the resolution. And we all go through that. But there's that part in the middle, that conflict part, is when you can feel really lost and really second guess yourself with a lot of different things. And that's what this is about today, because I've been identifying with that heavy lately. You're in that transition phase where you're not your old self still, but you're not quite that version of yourself that you picture to be in your head yet. And it's a really weird, awkward transition phase to be in, and you can feel lost at times. You can feel like you're doing the wrong thing a lot of the times. And that's because the in-between has no definition. It's undefined. You're in a void. You're in a super dark room with a very dim flashlight, and you can only see 2 feet in front of you, and you have to walk forward, and you don't know where you're going. You don't know if you're going in the wrong direction or in the right direction. You're just walking, just trying to get to where you want to go. You can't say that you're still your old self still, but you still can't say you're this new version of yourself that you want to get to just yet. And that can be really challenging, and try to navigate that in between, but it's a necessary in between we all have to go through if you want to get better in certain areas. And I bring up the gym a lot on this channel because I train consistently, and I love the gym. I think it's awesome. I love weightlifting. I love doing a little bit of boxing. I love doing cardio. I just like being active because it's just something that I really enjoy. It really gets the mind going. It really gets your body to relax and build your body. I think it's a good thing for us all to do. But that's one of the most perfect examples of being in that in-between phase, that transition phase. Let's say you've been training for 8-9 months. You can't say that you're your old self still that's out of shape, but you still haven't reached that full goal you wanted to hit, and you can't say you're actually in good shape yet. It's that in-between where you kind of feel lost. You feel like it's undefined. And the majority of this is just habits. Most things in life boil down to habits and the choices you make every day. Your old habits, you're not doing them anymore, so they feel weird. But the new habits you're trying to build and you're trying to stay consistent on, so they also feel weird. So you feel like you don't belong on either or just yet until you do the new habits for long enough. And then that's when you form that fully new identity, like the gym. If you've never worked out before and then you start working out for a few weeks, it's going to feel weird doing that until you've been doing it for years. And then you don't even think about it twice. That's just what you do now. Or it can be quitting something. If you want to quit maybe drinking or quit smoking or something like that. The old habit doesn't fit you anymore, but whatever you replace it with still doesn't feel natural yet. Whether that's doing a sparkling water instead, or doing a 0% drink instead, or just doing just some water, some sparkling water with some lime, some ginger, whatever it is. It doesn't feel natural yet until you've been doing it for long enough, and then that's what you grab without you even thinking about it. But that doesn't mean that it's regression if you're not used to the new habits and the new things you want to do yet. It's not regression. You're doing progression because you're actually trying to do the new thing instead of just reverting back to the old thing all the time. If you were just falling back to your old ways and old habits all the time without even trying, that's real regression. But you can make real progress in areas when you are doing the things you need to be doing, and you're trying to actually form and build these new habits, whatever it is. Leave it up to you. Whether it's the gym, you want to learn more stuff, you you want to make more cash, you want to build better relationships, whatever it is you want to do, that's up to you to actually try to build upon. The in between where you feel lost is where the transition really matters, and that's where all the magic happens. That's where everything happens, in that transition. Because once you get past the transition, guess what? You're already there to whatever you wanted to get to. All the magic sauce is in that transition, whatever it is. And oftentimes, like I've talked about on this channel, it's going to be boring, it's going to suck, it's going to take effort every day for you to actually do those things, whatever it is for you. I'm not here to tell you what to do, of course. I'm just here to tell you about how I think about these things, and how I think through these things, and what I'm thinking about in the current moment, or what I'm going through in the current moment. And oftentimes these things are boring, but you can actually train yourself in your mind to make these things not so boring. A lot of people think that reading is boring, or training is boring, or doing things they have to do is boring, but that's because they're frying their brains all the time on artificial dopamine loops. The most common ones nowadays are, of course, short form content where you're just scrolling all the time. I'm a victim of it myself. I do it. I do it all the time. I'll be on YouTube Shorts, and then I'll think I'll be on there for 5 minutes, and I'll look up and it's been 30, and I'm like, oh dang. And then it's that endless dopamine that you just get just watching video after video after video. But if you do that consistently, it's a lot harder for you to sit down and actually get something done, or to actually focus when you're trying to train. Because even if you do go train, you'll see people after every single set, they are clawing to their phone and they're staring at it the whole time. And then you look up 5 minutes later and they still haven't done another set, and they're just sitting there on their phone still. It's a real trap that a lot of people fall into consistently. So you got to be really aware of that stuff. You got to be aware of what you're giving your energy to and what you're actually training your brain to do. If you train your brain to get all of its satisfaction from scrolling something, or from watching a video, or from watching a movie, or for doing things that aren't actually going to get you to where you want to go, you're going to find the things that you actually want to improve in boring. Whether it's the things I brought about earlier, or I brought up earlier, or whatever else you want to get into. And once again, it'll take effort in a transition period to recalibrate your brain in doing those different things too. If you want a good tracker, download Nomo. It's Nomo. Super simple. Clocks. You can set clocks for anything. That's probably the best way to strip those artificial dopamine loops, is tracking it. Tracking how often or how long you can go without something, and then replace it with something else. You can't cut things out without replacing them with something else, or else you're always going to revert back to it. You can't white knuckle everything, even if you think you can. Eventually, people that try to white knuckle every single thing without substitutes and without strategy usually end up caving to their old self or their old habits. So download Nomo or any other kind of clock if you want to transition into doing other things that are actually going to be beneficial to you. And that's all to make the things you want to do actually rewarding for your brain. Because if you do that, you will train yourself to be rewarded by actually doing positive things, by doing things that are going to actually help you, like working out, like getting some work done, like doing this thing you have to do that you've been putting off, or trying to get ahead of the curve in some other areas. Whatever it is, you'll actually get different dopamine loops in positive ways and positive things that will actually help you in the long run. But to bring it back to feeling lost in that transition period, is natural. It's gonna happen. You're not gonna always feel like you have everything figured out in that period, but you have to do the things you need to do in order to get through that period. And that's where all the magic happens, in that transition. So even if you're feeling lost, you got to keep going through the fog and just keep going at it, and then eventually you'll get to where you want to go. At least that's how I look at it. If you got this far, my name is TJ. If you found this helpful at all or insightful at all, consider liking, consider subscribing. I got some more stuff on the way. But until then, I'm out of here. I'll see y'all.